So what do we do about it? Recently in India, we hosted our first F1 race. And this is the first time I saw an F1 race, right? And one thing which was very interesting that, when the world champion won the race in India, he said something very interesting, that Indian track on which they were racing is a very interesting track and actually one of the best in the world because it has 4 curves which allows you to overtake somebody else. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? That means that when you are racing straight, the ability for you to overtake somebody else is limited. But whenever a bend comes in, good racetrack drivers get very interested. There are lots of literature written on racetrack drivers who perform extremely when complete elements change and the computers are not running the car, there is a rain, there is a storm, everything changes, and those are the people who really perform. So these guys who are extremely good are waiting for curves, waiting for elements to change for an opportunity to win the race. So what I am talking about as perfect storm, a threat, and scaring you, is that not the biggest opportunity we all have ever seen in our lifetime? Because it's a curve, it's a bend. And if we treat our strategies correctly, if we put our elements together, won't we be able to convert this threat into the massive opportunity which the world has not seen so far? Because for the first time after a long time, we have a perfect storm, a curve, and an opportunity to beat our competition, increase our market share, which is what HCL is doing. So what could be the possible elements or critical success factors to make that happen? And what is it that we need to discuss and debate in the next 2 days? In my mind, the first is makes innovation the center stage of your idea. The reason Malcolm Gladwell is here today is because his whole research around innovation on the edge and Blink and everything which you have read about him is about structured innovation in our company. It's not about a single idea, right? Most of us are not Steve Jobs. So it is not about a single idea, it's about structured innovation, and innovation is happening in fringes with employees at the grassroots level, which is what HCL has tapped into. It is happening in partnership between you and us. It is happening with competition, co-option. It is happening all over the world. So what is the structure of innovation to bring those ideas to bear to solve some of the problems? So what is the architecture of innovation? And I think Michael Gladwell is going to spend an hour talking about that. I think the second, most important second is that how are you going to rejuvenate your employees? Your employees are not in touch with a reality of the fact that the problem is there. Number 2, they are not part of your solution today. And number 3, you desperately want them to be part of the solution. So what is your social architecture of the organization? What is your organization structure? What is your ethos? What is your philosophy around employees today? Because they are the last hope of solutions for you. And how are you changing it? How are you thinking about it? What experiments are you conducting in your organization to try and see how you can get the best out of the employees so that you can beat everybody else in that race? And the last part is transformation. What is the structure of your transformation? I believe if you look at the history, there are 3 elements which are very interesting in making successful transformations. The first is creating dissatisfaction with ourselves of today. How many of us in our companies are unhappy with our state of being in that company? And how many of us spend all our life selling to all the rest of the employees in the world that how good we are, how great we are number 1 in this and number 2, you slice and dice the data to look good. Unless there is a significant amount of dissatisfaction, how do you expect the company to even start thinking about change? Forget about answering the perfect storm question. So if that thought process is not going to same, the first step is to honestly create positive dissonance in the company so that the journey of transformation has a chance, because people will want to change because I am unhappy with my current state of affairs, which is the point I'm making. We are perfect storm, and with every passing day we become irrelevant. The second is to create a vision of tomorrow which is so compelling that people will jump out of their bed and want to go and work for you, want to work for that vision, want to go and do it for you. What is that vision? And in that vision, what is in it for them? Do you have that? So if you have the dissatisfaction and you have the vision for tomorrow, then you can connect the two with small experiments, not big changes, with small experiments, and that would create magic and that would create transformation. So the 3 elements of critical success factors of turning the threat into an opportunity is a possibility. Let's go back to HCL and see what are some of the experiments which are working in HCL. In 2005, when we found ourselves in exactly the same situation of a perfect storm, a company which was losing mind share, market share, talent share, and everybody in the world knew it other than us. And that is true with a lot of companies today, and some of you will find it true in your organizations also today. We started looking at innovation, and if we have to transform, we started looking at the structure of transformation and saying a lot of companies have transformed themselves on what they do. And very few have succeeded like Apple. But is there a chance of transforming on how we do it? The Japanese transformed the way they manufactured cars and overtook the American automakers just because of the how. And we started our journey in transformation in searching how we run our company. And if on that axis, if we could innovate, we could create a sustained competitive differentiator compared to competition. That search took us to 3 questions which are relevant today, which we need to ask ourselves. The first question we asked ourselves is, what is the business HCL is in? And the answer to that question is that we are in the business of creating differentiated value, differentiated experience for our customers. That word differentiated is very important. If you can get the same experience from our competitors, why would you come to us? If you can get the same value from our competitors, why would you come to us? So the word differentiated was very important. Okay, we get it. Second question, where does this differentiated value or differentiated experience get created? And the answer was very interesting. Actually, it gets created in the interface of our employees and our customers. And that's the value zone. And then we asked ourselves the third question, which I think was the most important. So if our employees in that value zone are creating the differentiated value, which is critical for our growth, what are the managers doing? What should the business of managers and management be? What should be the social architecture of the organization which can succeed? And the answer was that the business of managers and management in this structure, in this social architecture, has to be to enthuse, encourage, enable the employees to create the differentiated value so that we can grow faster. That's exactly what we did. So that was a journey from 2005 to 2010. Today at HCL, we are convinced that with every passing day, we're becoming obsolete. Whatever philosophy we have adopted on employee first, customer second is obsolete because it's not working anymore. The differentiation has to be incremental, the innovation has to be incremental, and therefore we have to find new and newer ways of doing it. Some of those experiments you would see through videos today. Videos of Mad Jam, searching for leaders called Mad Limited, Make a Difference, Lead a Difference, CEOs within the company who will come with ideas, who will crowdsource their ideas, and we will fund those ideas as CEOs and drive innovation through that area. The power of one, how do we connect community with the company? So there are, and value portal, there are many ideas which will be presented to you today during the course of the conference are the experiments which are going on. But I want to talk about 2 experiments which are very interesting to try and take this debate to an extreme right, to try and see why can't we debate an extreme thought? Why are we only talking about incremental thought? Why can't we talk about something extreme? And here is where the idea is originating, and this is an experiment which is happening in HCL. The question we asked ourselves is, what is a great social architecture of an organization? And there are 2 thoughts which originated in that. Number 1 is stock exchange. And we said that stock exchange is the purest form of finding the true value of innovation, products and services, where the buyer and the seller mutually co-discover under an overall governance structure of a stock exchange. Otherwise, the buyer and seller are not in a hierarchy, and nobody, no boss, no manager, get into a board meeting or a CEO takes a decision that this is the transfer price, that this is what you will do, and this you will do. There is this exchange, millions and millions of people come together and mutually discover the true value of the innovation. So can the innovation architecture within the organization look like a stock exchange? That's the first experiment which we have launched. We are attempting. Let's see where we go with that. The second experiment is actually a lot more interesting experiment. We said that, you know, the true social architecture of an organization is defined by the neural network in our body, which is many-to-many communication. That's how God made us to be. And then we created an organ structure, which is very pyramid, which is hierarchy. And when you see Facebook, it is actually a neural network technology, and people are loving it because that is many-to-many communication, and therefore you will be able to collaborate, socialize, take ideas, work with whoever you want for whatever topic you want. So it's a many-to-many social architecture which is catching the fancy of many Gen Y and actually a lot of our guys like us also. Today it is maybe used for irrelevant stuff, right, socializing, but can we use that social architecture of many-to-many collaboration to create innovation in our company? Can we destroy the hierarchy of the company, retain the governance hierarchy of the company, but destroy the hierarchy of the company and create an architecture where many-to-many work together to create innovation in a social network of Facebook, and you will see us presenting meme as our experiment in that area. The point I'm making is the fact that, yes, there is a perfect storm, and I truly believe every perfect storm creates a great opportunity for people to lead who really want to lead. Employees are going to be, innovation is going to be the center of the agenda. Employees are going to be at the center of the agenda. And one of the things we have to start believing in is that employee is no more part of the solution and no more part of the problem and actually part of the solution. Or I may state, the only solution you may have. So the question and the idea which I want to leave for you to think about, if employee is the possible only solution you have, what are you going to do about it? And while you think on the subject, think about one other topic. Isn't everybody an employee? Isn't the President of America and the janitor and the CEO and all of you, your customers, your employees, everybody's an employee? If everybody's an employee and employee is the one who's going to solve our problems, why are we not celebrating being an employee? And if we start celebrating being an employee and get the employees back to work, why can't we fix the economic issues? Why can't we fix the innovation issues? Why can't we fix the emerging market issues? We can. We just have not taken the step forward of celebrating everybody is an employee. Thank you so much. Enjoy the conference, and I look forward to hearing ideas from you so that we live in a world which is better to live with every passing day. Thank you so much.